Hi guys, this is Omer from MMOHut.com, and I'm the first impression gameplay video for DarkFall, pay-to-play MMORPG by Aventurine. Now I'll spend about 5-10 minutes running around checking the game out, make sweet comments. If you guys want to play DarkFall or just learn more about it, do check it out full review on the link below. Now this is a pay-to-play game, but I'm doing it because there is a 14-day free trial in it. Now I'm already logged in and we can see some of the races on my character creation screen. The Orcs of Morak, the Humans of Mercia. Kind of want to be humans, but let's see what else do we have. The Elfers of Nagast, and you can see who their allies and enemies are in the game. So there is some alliances between the factions, but of course that doesn't mean everything in the game, because you can actually attack players within your own faction. I'll explain that a little bit more later on. The Mariam of Tribeland, which are basically werewolves, and the Dwarves of Deverigim. And is that it? Yeah, we got our orcs over here again. Let's go with our humans and let's click next to create our character. You can see from the graphics they are actually really nice. The game came out, I believe, in 2009, July 2009, making it at least 1 year old now. So let's click next. You can see our customization options. I'm going to go with the black hair. We got cool beard. What else do we got? No, let's go with an epic beard. We are going to go with that beard. That is an awesome beard. Let's go with what else we got on our face. This looks really awkward. I am not going to go with that. We're going to go with a normal face over here. Do we have an eye patch? Yeah, we got an eye patch. Can we have 2 eye patches? Nope, only 1 eye patch. And we got accessories as well. I am just going to click next for now and let's enter the game. Click next down over here. My name will be generated. I'm going to be Ethan Laminary. Click next. I can choose my starting location. East Sandbrook it is. And let's click next. Create this character? Okay, I'll create it. Alright, the game just loaded and I am logged into the game. You can see my backpack, my paper doll, and my newbie protection, which lasts 24 hours, as you can see on the top right. And aside from this really basic introduction you see over here, how to move the game, how to strafe, how to sheath your sword and stuff, the game does very little to teach you how to play, which is unfortunate because it's actually a very complicated game and a very in-depth game as well. So we can equip our weapon over here. You start with this one weapon over here, and you can even move it around in your backpack if you want to. Let's double click our leaf blade. Now this game actually was this game was actually inspired by Ultima Online back in 1999, 1998, back when it was an open world PvP MMORPG. And since that game changed, there's really been nothing like it, because nowadays even Ultima Online is not what it used to be, because it's not a very PvP oriented game anymore. So this game is trying to recreate the atmosphere of open world PvP and danger. I'll explain that a little bit more. But right now you move with WSAND. You can see the game's graphics are actually really nice. And based on the game's first-person perspective and the game's open-world feel right now, it actually reminds me of Oblivion for the PC. A game I never really got too far into. But can we zoom out or no? Let's unsheath. So it looks like we go third-person once I unsheath my weapon, which is kind of annoying because I don't like the first-person view. This town I'm in right now, we saw 2 other players running around. I can't really attack any other player right now because I have my newbie protection on. But if I didn't, I'd be able to just go up to this guy and own him. But let's keep running around. This town is owned by Lords of Death, which is, I guess, a clan in the game. So individual towns can actually be captured by other players, which is actually a really cool aspect of the game. And the open world feel for the game is really original as well, because I mean a lot of games have the open world feel, but this is just enormous. You can see really far into the distance, and there's actually no loading as well in between areas. I think there is loading if you enter dungeons, but other than that, I mean just walking around the game world, there's no actual loading. And the game world is really beautiful. Unfortunately, I gotta find something to kill though. So let's go run around outside town. The game world is massive as well. Very massive. We have 5 continents, though the one in the middle is much bigger. Niflheim is in the top left. That's from Norse mythology, I believe. We can jump with spacebar, which of course is pretty normal. I can attack with left click. So it looks like it's a pretty action-oriented MMORPG because you can kind of start swinging at enemies manually. And let's see what I start with. Click P. Yeah, I start with no armor at all. This game is pretty brutal. I start only with my one crappy sword. But that's alright. I can make my way around and find stuff. So let's find enemies to kill. In the meanwhile, though, the game is very PvP oriented and very brutal. And I do mean that. It's actually the most, it's probably one of the most PvP intensive games out there. My master run has increased. Progression, I'll talk about that real quick. Progression-wise, you actually just progress not by killing monsters and leveling up, and instead by just doing things. The more I use my sword right now, like the one I have equipped, the more skill I'll gain in my swordsmanship. And the more I run around, the more run skill I'll gain. And I think that'll increase my movement speed. And the more you ride, the more riding skill you'll use. If I use like a great club, I'll gain skills in macing. So depending on what you do in the game, what kind of combat you do, what kind of crafting you do, you'll gain individual skills in that. Like it says over here, mining spawn rock on the bottom right. If I have a pickaxe and I start mining these rocks, I'll gain skill in mining. So there's no actual levels, and instead players progress based on what they do in the game. And I kind of like that system better because it's a classless system. Instead, players can kind of mold their character exactly how they want, rather than just picking one archetype and sticking with it. Of course, the whole archetype system is used in most MMORPGs, and it works as well. This is just another way to, you know, let players play with their characters and customize them. Though this has much more variety because, again, everyone gets to play their character the way they want. Unfortunately, the one problem with this game's skill system is that there's no skill cap, so one player who's been playing since the game first came out will have more skills than anybody else. Since there's no caps, one guy can be amazing at every possible weapon in the game, every possible trade skill in the game, but of course to do that you really need to sink a lot of time to the game, so much time actually. So I doubt very many players are actually amazing at everything. And instead, most players pick one or two things to really focus on. Like maybe I want to work only on my swords, and I want to work only on my few mage skills or crafting skills. It really wouldn't be worth for me to just work on everything at once, because then you're going to suck at everything, rather than be good at one or two things. And back to the game's brutality. This game is hardcore. I mean, the game's developers even came out and said this is not a casual MMORPG. This is really, you got to sink a lot of time to this game to really appreciate it and to get inside of it. There's players can control towns, fight for towns, and the PvP is open world, meaning you can kill anybody anywhere in the game. And I really have to stress that because the way it works is, if my newbie protection is gone, anybody can jump me right now. And if I was to die right now, I would drop everything I'm carrying. Luckily, this is a new character and I'm not carrying anything. But say I was in a dungeon, I was killing monsters, I was farming for like 3 hours, I got a boatload of treasure, a boatload of magic weapons and armor, and all sorts of goodies, and epics of course. And I go back, I want to go back to town, and while I'm killing my last monster, 3 players come out of nowhere and jump me. I'm gonna die, they're gonna rip me, and they're gonna take everything I have. So when you die, you drop everything. All the armor, all the treasure, everything you're carrying will be dropped on your corpse. And whoever killed you can actually just loot it. And let's say I died to a monster even, and a player walks by, he sees my dead body, he can actually take everything on my body right then and there. So the only way to really be safe in this game is to not carry anything, or at least store all your valuables in the town's bank. And again, this is a lot like Ultima Online. It's not really original because all of this was done in Ultima Online, but I do want to praise the guys behind DarkFall for sort of reviving that old tradition of, you know, a dangerous world where just traveling outside town can be dangerous. Unfortunately, I have yet to find anything to kill though, which kind of sucks. And I zoom in on this map, maybe I can find a point of interest. But let's go down over here. I really want to kill something, but I may not even be able to find anything. The game's world isn't just scattered with cute monsters like they are in a lot of Korean MMORPGs. And instead, I think monsters are just concentrated in like a few spots in the game, like their own little monster villages and stuff. And monsters in the game are actually pretty smart. I've actually been following this game for a while since its development because I was a big fan of Ultima Online back in the day. And there's a monster. I'm going to go kill that bad boy. I'm going to kill the Hivekin Forager. Hopefully it does not own me. And I gain my Mastery of Run again. So I've been following this game a little bit since development, only because I've been a big fan of Ultima Online. Though I never really got too far into this, only because it's a pay-to-play game and I really haven't been playing any pay-to-play games for a while. This Forager thing sucks. I'm about to kill this guy. He's just rolling around after he died. This jerk is like breathing acid at me, so let's kill this one too. And by fighting this guy, I should be able to gain some more skill. But you don't gain it too fast, though. It makes sense. There's a little help menu in the game I'll show you in a minute. Alright, I'm good to go. I just killed 2 guys, and I'm kind of safe right now, I think. Am I safe? Yeah, I'm safe. If we right-click, we can bring up our help center over here. And this is actually well worth reading. It explains a lot of the game's features and how to really get started in the game. And there's a lot going on, too, including player housing, which is actually really cool. It's one of the only MMORPGs that really implements player housing, and player housing I think is really awesome. And if players actually put their houses next to each other, you can actually form your own player villages, which is kind of cool too. But of course, since the game is pretty brutal, even player villages can be attacked and sieged and captured by other players. Overall though, the game it's not your run-of-the-mill MMORPG, only because it's really hardcore. I mean, think EVE Online, but multiplied by 10 in its PvP. Maybe that's an unfair comparison though, because they're different kind of games. I know EVE Online is very PvP oriented as well, but I feel this is more brutal because you can lose everything and you can just get ganked anywhere in the game, and that can be very frustrating for new players. I remember back when I played Ultima Online, it was terrible. I used to get ganked all the time, but it's really fun too because say you're in the capital of the city and you start picking a fight with somebody, you know, I'll be like, yo, let's fight right now, one-on-one, me and you. I'm the best guy over here. I'll kick your ass. And the guy, you know, he accepts your challenge. You go outside town to fight. As soon as he comes outside town to fight you, you have 10 friends or 3 friends waiting in the woods, and you ambush him and you just kill him. And you just rip that guy apart, take all his loot, and you keep doing that. So the game itself is very brutal. It's sort of in a league of its own. And it actually did receive pretty negative reviews overall, though. And I think that's mainly because the people reviewing the game didn't really know what the company behind it, I think it's Aventurine is behind it, what they were trying to do with the game. I mean, they had a very specific purpose. They weren't trying to create a game that's easy. They were trying to recreate the world of Ultima Online, where it was just dangerous, open world, everything is done by players, and overall there's a lot going on in the game. If you have the time and the patience to get into it, and you really like PvP MMORPGs, hey, maybe DarkFall Online is worth checking out for you. But I think most players will want to stay away from this only because it appeals only to the very hardcore. Anyway guys, if you guys do want to play DarkFall or just learn more about it, do check it out full review on the link below.